Good evening. This is Townsend Finance Committee meeting, calling the meeting to order at 6:06 p.m. Let's see. Sorry, gotta scroll down. With the meeting called to order, as we have remote people that need a roll call attendance.
Carolyn Mazik, yes, here.
Mark Hussey here.
Josh
Andrea
Levitt.
Wood here.
And Josh, I heard you, and Don Hayes is present. With that, we have a quorum, and we are good to continue. This meeting is being recorded and played live on Channel 9. It will also be available on the YouTube channel when it's been processed and posted. Item 4 on the preliminaries, additions or deletions. I have nothing to add at this particular time. Does anybody else have anything that was missing from the agenda?
I do not.
I have
None
none.
being- yeah.
I'm good.
Okay, none being heard, we're going to go to the work session, which is item 1, the reserve fund transfer requests. We had, sorry, I'm just doing my.
Do we have this one to put up?
We do. I can, yeah, sorry.
I don't know if they have it.
Yeah, I had sent that out early to everybody, but let me share it. Okay, so I gotta start with sharing on Zoom. Okay. I'm gonna share the screen.
John, can you
Yeah.
share the email as well as the transfer?
Yes, yep, I'll get that going now. I'm just, let's see. Okay, so I should be sharing the screen right now. You should see the agenda. I'm gonna call up. We'll start with the file and then I'll call up the email. And we'll go back and forth between them as we need. Okay. From Katie. Okay. To the original. Okay, Andrea, will you have spoken up? Do you want to review the information in the email, or do you want to start with one transfer request at a time?
I guess I've misunderstood. I thought she sent the email saying this is where he's likely to hit shortfall. And then the reserve fund transfer itself
Yeah.
was to cover all those things, although he only named one thing in the transfer itself.
Okay, so what,
We've only got 3 here, right?
we should have 4, I think.
Is it 4? With the generator, the pump system,
And do we have plaster?
and we got plaster, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that should be a 4. Okay, so as we started with reserve fund transfers earlier this year, and we had the one from the police department come in for the elevator repair. At that point, we discussed, I have not codified it yet and put it out, but we asked for supporting documentation of show us the invoices so we have actual numbers, and show us the other money that will be coming out of that account that you have scheduled. And so I did have a conversation with Rob, and Katie actually watched the finance committee meeting that we had earlier in the month, and she went ahead and pulled the invoices and gathered the rest of this information for the account. Because one of the items we talked about was that we didn't know which account they wanted to put the money in. And everything is everything is going into the professional services account. Everything that was done here was outsourced. So this is to support, why the current balance in the budget, why they're requesting it, and the additional money that may be coming out of the account and that they know of right now.
So then the 21,000 that is left over from what he's asking for here, it's not in here though, right?
No, it's not in here. This is saying, this money is they're gonna use another 21,000,
Okay,
More
for
out of it.
below, the light fixture,
right?
the window tint.
Yeah.
Elevator quarterly payment, why is that not in? the
No,
budget?
it's part of it. So when he put together the budget, and put I think, I don't remember the total line. If it was $80,000, it was in there at the beginning of the year. So the account that had the elevator quarterly in there, and that's what they're saying, he estimates that he's gonna use another 82,000 for the rest of the year. So if we look at the BV.
Moses.
Yeah, well, expenses are there, and.
But I guess what I'm trying to say is the elevator quarterly payment shouldn't even be an issue, it should be already
It's,
a
okay,
line item.
okay. so
Or maybe not a line item, but,
Yeah.
It was in the schedule for the account. So when we asked this, we said, what other expenses are you going to incur that you have regularly scheduled for that money? And so he's listing that the elevator quarterly payment is part of what's going to continue to come out of that line item. So he's used,
so he used the elevator fund then, the elevator payment.
well,
Yeah,
there was a budget at the beginning of the year. He
Right.
estimated how much he was going to need. These were not estimated at the beginning of the year. These are outside his normal. So what's listed here is his normal maintenance activities that is coming out of professional services to cover.
So we didn't pay for the elevator all at once, we put it up in
it's
payment?
quarterly payments
No, no.
apparently.
So last year we had an $8,000 or $7,298 reserve fund request because that was outside. That was a safety issue with the elevator that we had to pay once.
And what was it this year?
This year is every quarter, they come out and service the elevators.
Which should be, he's got a contract, I'm sure. for
He has
that.
a contract
Right,
with that, and so he.
And
at the
how much
begin-
is it every quarter?
it's probably a fair amount of money, they're expensive,
I know
but
they
they're
are,
worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I
so-
know.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so,
well, that was already known and that should.
Shouldn't be on
Perhaps
this
he could
list.
use some
yeah,
help
no,
setting
No,
aside
it's-
money in his
okay.
budget for known things to be paid.
okay,
Correct.
so what we have in the list that's displayed, should I try to blow it up a little bit? So we have a list of, let me count. We have a list of 8 items. These 8 items were on his list and in his original budget for the whole year. What we have on these requests is what was outside
Oh, outside of the budget.
his budget.
Oh, so the elevator thing's coming out of here? Payment?
No,
Coming out of his
okay.
budget.
I'm confused.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of the year. He has a quarterly elevator budget. We'll stick with one.
Right,
So every quarter, he estimated that he's gonna pay $4,000 for the elevator.
he has a contract.
He has a
should know what it
contract,
is.
yeah, he has a contract
Right.
and he pays that money. Now, we had a ceiling fall in the main stairway. He's gotta get that fixed. He did not schedule that for the
Correct.
beginning of the year. So he had to hire a service and get it repaired. So he paid professional services money for an unexpected expense out of that account.
I got it, I get it. I just don't think that you should be able to take money from something that was already in your budget away. And then, and then have this on the list
No,
to ask for more
Okay.
money.
Yeah, no, it's
It's
not.
just my opinion,
Yeah, okay, and,
and nothing against
No.
him
But
at
you're
all.
right, it should be,
But you know,
if it's
this
a
is how
yearly and you
things
know
get
it's gonna be
destroyed. That's how they get
$4,000
destroyed.
every quarter, then it should be already.
It's
there.
dedicated. You can't use that
Dedicated.
money.
No,
But-
it's dedicated to something.
right, okay, so this.
My
is where-
opinion.
This is where we
Yeah.
maybe get into, that there maybe needs to be 2 budget lines. maintenance, because that's a quarterly and we have a
Or
contract.
contracts, simply contracts. Here's your
Right.
contracts. These are all, your subcontractors are all gonna get paid this amount of money.
Every,
Extra stuff is not
Something else,
miscellaneous, but I
yeah.
mean unforeseen things. You have a budget for that too.
yeah, it
So,
should be
you know,
two separate.
Along with your
The budgeting.
maintenance contracts and everything. That's my opinion.
No,
Okay, so that was the piece, and because he requested and received the repairs, whether it was the
Mhm.
power generator, it's kind of like, we'll stick with the stair and the plastering. So when,
Was that from a leak?
I don't believe so.
No, okay.
No, I think it was just age. And
what caused the plaster to fall down, do we know?
Age, I guess.
Mm,
It wasn't wet up there or anything like that?
I don't know.
I didn't see it, but I'm
But
assuming.
again, these are things
not
we
wet.
should have foreseen and had in them. you
Well,
know.
see,
Well, I don't
that,
have-
And I know he ain't got no money, so it
Right.
doesn't
Right,
matter.
right, it's gonna,
Right, but it's hard to say if a ceiling was
So-
gonna come down, I mean, you can't tell.
It's
I-
not unforeseen. It's been
and there's-
happening for years.
there's only a certain number of account lines that he has set up.
Yeah.
So when he sent out and got a quote and a contractor to come in to do the repairs, they were done and they were paid out of
Out of that,
the professional
out of that
services
budget,
account.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I totally get it, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's right.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm not saying he's wrong
Mhm.
doing what he had to do. It's how it's set up.
Right,
You
yeah,
have contracts, that's a line item. All your maintenance contracts,
Mhm.
that's it. This is what you got for the year, and you know it's there.
right.
You
And then
know?
you have a separate, and
You have prevented,
in my mind, yeah, preventive maintenance versus repair.
right, and you've gotta have your eye at the other side, still looking at capital, because all this stuff's all gonna fall apart eventually.
Right.
And I know he doesn't have the money, so I shouldn't.
Yeah, no, this is what we have in the budget this year.
Right.
We have the opportunity for FY '25 to see if we can break and create two lines. A maintenance line where it's all there and a, line for repair.
You know, because I'm looking right there at irrigation, startup
Yeah.
and repairs. That's a contract price. I mean, that's
Right.
part of your
On an
contract.
annual basis.
So maybe that's what
on
we
all
need
the
to tell them, that we want it done this way. and
Well, I don't know if he can necessarily do it versus what the town wants him to do either. I
Well,
don't know.
that's a piece, but we can
You know?
request that, and we have on the.
It only
side-
makes everybody's
Yeah.
job easier.
Right, and we did it last year with the software and the maintenance contract,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna happen this year.
Right.
Kind of like, because of the bulk and paying those software licenses up front, we said, that's not your contract.
Yeah.
So break out the lines between your software licenses and your ongoing monthly contract for, Guardian.
Then everything's kind of protected, all right? But if you go over on your maintenance costs or
Right, then you-
repairs, that's okay. That happens all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
I
so,
think-
But you've got your money there.
But I think he would be better off doing it that way with contracts. I think it would make it easier for him.
Yeah, I mean, then he doesn't have to worry
No,
about
because
it.
he knows
You know,
that
right
that's a
now, he's gotta
constant
worry about, oh
payment.
God, I gotta have the elevator quarterly payment
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
He shouldn't have to worry about
No.
that.
right, and so those are the pieces. He did that budget, but
Mhm.
then he had these extraordinary circumstances happen where things broke that were not
Which is
covered
fine,
by contract and not covered by insurance.
right, but I think they should be
And
separate.
so,
It would make his job easier
I
too.
think it'll-
And again, I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong, he's
No.
just doing
He's
what
already
he's
been
told.
instructed to work,
Exactly.
right.
but I think it'd be better
And-
for
and-
him.
And that's the typical accounting method that was used.
Mhm.
When you have, a vendor come in and do a repair, we pay him out of professional services facility.
He should come out of repairs and maintenance.
Well, and I think that's, maintenance is one thing, because you can plan for maintenance
Yeah,
more than repairs.
right.
So it's kind of like, so I see it as, don't do repairs and maintenance.
Just do repairs
maintenance line.
and then have your maintenance contracts, yes.
Right, and so you have a maintenance line for all that nice clean stuff that you set. the
Your known
contract.
costs.
Your known costs are in a
Yeah.
maintenance line,
Yeah.
and your repair line, you put in something,
Right.
an amount. And year over year, we have the experience that we are gonna need some. But I don't think every building, every department can put in a buffer of 25,000 for.
Oh,
for-
no,
No, because
especially
we
these
can't
days,
handle
no.
But at least there's something in there, you know, hey,
Right. I mean, it just looks bad that way. It isn't as bad as you think, but I mean,
Yeah.
why, you know,
It's kinda-
it just stood out to me like, are you kidding me? What are we doing here?
yeah, no, wait, what stood out is, and again, this is our first time of seeing information that we requested to say, okay, we have this, but there's still $20,000 in the account.
Mm,
Well, there's 20,000, but they're planning on about 82,000.
Right.
So it's like, so we're still running the potential we may overdraw that account. We may have to do, an MTR, the municipal transfer requests later on. But right now, in order to get them through current, these requests are to pay for these invoices that were, unplanned breakdowns. And repairs.
When your main job is maintenance,
Mhm.
3/4, if not all, of your maintenance problems are unplanned.
True. Yeah,
You know, what I think one of the problems is that, well, first of all, he's been given chores and not money to cover them. You know, somebody drops off from doing this job, they assign it to him instead, but there's
Yeah.
been no money to compensate for the cost of that new job.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one budget now. We're late in the game like always happens. But I think this is one of the budgets that really needs to be revalued and taken care of. It delineated what he does for the different buildings, because he does different things for different buildings.
yeah,
Right,
Right,
And if
yeah.
he
What
does something
actual
for
buildings he covers now.
Whole
When
buildings.
this budget was first designed, it only covered the library, the police station,
Needs to come out of
and
there.
Absolutely,
senior
And that's
center.
all.
it's not, yeah.
yeah,
And then they threw in the fire department. But no money went into his budget from the fire department, though I do believe the fire department has itself paid for some of those things.
there is a line for maintenance and repairs in both police and fire, so if they're budgeted and he does work for them, it should go to their account.
Yes.
Not
Where
theirs.
does the water go through?
Water,
Each building.
each building has its own, so fire has a water line, police have water line, and facilities has the remainder.
Now, there's something in here on this, right, about, maybe there wasn't. Light fixture, what was the light fixture in the parking lot? Somebody knocked one down?
What was that?
Light fixture in the
There's a
parking lot?
light fixture in the parking lot.
There is,
Yeah, it's like how it blow
did it get hit or did it just blow out or
up.
what?
Yeah, I'm not, but these are what he says is planned. These aren't the unplanned. This is what he.
What
this is
has to be done?
What has to be done.
Yeah,
This is his list of
All right.
other tasks that have to be done from within that account.
Cause see, I look at the automatic cooling system.
Mhm.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The town hall fire system.
Yeah.
Antifreeze needs to be
Drained and filled.
drained and
Drained and
filled.
filled.
Now, is that a surprise? I hope not.
No,
That's
no,
all I'm saying. No,
yeah.
that's what this makes it look like.
Right, okay.
Should be done.
That's all I'm
Okay.
getting
Isn't
at.
that done every year? I mean,
Yeah,
Probably,
Or-
or every 3 or 5 years.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah. This,
but
This-
that's a constant though.
right.
right, but see, and he probably does that every 3 to 5 years.
Right.
But it doesn't look like it
Oh, I
here.
see.
That's all I'm
Okay,
getting at.
so, yeah, so what we had asked for is, what else are you gonna use the money in this account for?
Okay.
So, like I said,
Yeah,
there's
yeah, all
there's
right.
20,000 in here, and so this is his list of items that he has to get through the last quarter of the year and cover all these things. So that's why he's requesting, so if we look at it, what we had done, the procedure that we used was not to transfer the money until it was about to go to zero.
Yeah,
Okay,
And so we changed, we talked about it and said, let's look at what their usage is gonna be, and are they truly unplanned errors, and,
I would say so.
well, and again, this is.
That would apply to these, actually.
We only have 0.5% of the budget in a reserve fund. So we have to be cautious with how we take the reserve fund releases and approvals. And so,
How
you know,
much
that's
is
the
left
piece.
in the reserve fund, do we know?
I think it was about 41,000 right now.
And that's gotta bring us through.
That's gotta bring us through end of June.
So this 21,000 includes this or no?
Okay, let me get my math done. because
Okay.
I haven't done,
You said 41,000, is that what you said? we
there's
had?
41,000 in the reserve fund right now.
So the 21 alone that he's asking for is gonna leave 20, and I'm hoping it includes this.
No, it's-
Well, yeah, so 2, 3, 34, 50.
Well, another thing too, at the end of the year, it would
Mhm.
seem to me that, the things that you should be, well, for example, there's the counter at the library. The doors still work automatically. It's just the counter isn't working. Is that a priority? Maybe you could put that off to another, till the next fiscal year,
Right,
because it isn't as important as changing the fluid or whatever.
If you didn't say that, we would not have known. That's what the only problem is, you know what I'm saying?
When they say the counter, are they talking about?
It must be a button to open the door at the counter, is that what it is?
No, it's, you know how at budget time, they always say we had 7,000 people come through the library just today?
Right.
Yeah,
I assume that's what they were talking about, was the
Well, does that
the
mean they would
automatic
charge
door
if they
is
use
still
that counter?
automatically open, but the counter,
Oh.
to count the people correctly.
No, do you mean when they show their little card and they put it in front of the machine and it counts it? Is that what you're calling a counter? Or are you calling the opening of the door a counter?
I'm calling, I think, it says automatic door system,
Okay,
at the library, and it says BC out,
but that doesn't make sense. 'Cause
Calibration.
two people could come through at the same time.
yeah, no, it's kind of, it could be, to me, it's a tractor beam, a laser beam that's trying to
and it's
identify
not
people.
opening the door.
And it's not opening the door at the right time.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
a,
out of
that's a
alignment.
problem. Yeah.
It's kind of,
For the senior center, yeah.
but for both, it's kind of, that's the only thing I can think of with calibration, but
yeah, I must have misunderstood what I read, I'm sorry.
That's right, it is recalibration.
yeah, it's kind of like, that's my guess on it, is there's something about calibrating and aligning it.
Oh, okay.
Or it's not, there's an adjustment for sensitivity and it's not adjusted properly, it's kind of, it's not sensitive enough.
So what's up with the, window treatment for the town administrator's office? Can we maybe put that off for a little while?
Maybe we could, because things might change.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
it's not before the heating system in summer, but, with that, it was always cold in his office.
With the winter.
And there were windows, windows were down with it, but that's what the window treatments are for, is to adjust that. So we
I think we could wait on that.
I don't think he'd object either.
One of the things that, I'm not faulting his skill, but no one person can know everything.
right.
I would assume on this library thing that he would have to hire somebody to do that.
Maybe.
And
They
that's
probably
what
got a service contract and it's got
It-
money built into
Right.
that.
it could be,
Yeah.
but again, this is coming out of the same
But we don't
line.
know.
So this is professional services. This is not any other line of
Right,
work.
right.
These are the things that he's going to,
So these are the things we don't know.
Right.
right. These are the things that we don't know that he's gonna use the rest of the money for.
Right.
Because
and-
that was the thing, we were usually blind to what else would be coming out of that account. this, we're trying to make it visible to us as we look at these requests. These are the things that he anticipates he's gonna use. And yes, maybe, he may get to that point that he makes that decision. I don't wanna do certain things on here until the next year, because he's getting closer to the end of this fiscal year. And he doesn't wanna take it negative, but he knows that
He doesn't want to add it to next year.
he doesn't,
If it was,
that's a
if the
possibility.
budget was redone, not now redone, but
Yeah.
for the upcoming year.
Right.
Wouldn't it be more valuable to know the services that he can do and the services he has to hire for? Because then we could figure the cost better.
Yeah, and I will agree with that, and I know Rob had, asked, even for a pest control line to be broken out, because pest control can vary
That
depending on.
has to be probably, they better do that monthly,
Correct.
I would say.
And he may be able to go to quarterly depending on,
Well,
and it may be building
It
to
may
building.
be, it
Yeah.
may be billed that way, a lot of places bill that way.
Right, so those are his pieces, but if we have one building that can go quarterly and another building that they do monthly updates to baiting and trapping, then that could help them, but all of the pest control would be in a single line. So he's going on it, and I apologize, it is a little confusing that we see this, but that's sort of the information we were looking for to help us make decisions with the,
So what'd you
With
come
these
up with? Was that,
it's 22,400
for this?
for these four. The four
So-
requests for,
yeah.
everything that's on the screen
Yeah.
is not
Not
on these
included.
requests.
So
These-
then we're looking at the whole boat
We're
plus.
looking at the whole boat, so it's kind of like, let me go back,
About 19,000.
and get the last BBA that we had.
What's wrong with the window treatment that's in there now?
Well, I don't think that's a problem. That's just us.
Well, I know they put new window treatment in here.
What's up with the light? Did it get knocked down? Is it a hazard? Can it, is it just a
Little more.
bulb?
A little
I don't
more
know.
info.
But even if it is just a
Is
bulb,
it in front of the parking lot or the rear?
No, I'm not saying,
yeah,
I'm saying, does it have to go, do we have to deplete this fund for that?
So quickly.
Right,
Because you're down to what, 19?
I don't think it's anything when we get done with both numbers.
let me check.
I thought we had 41 and that came to 21.
Right, plus the 21 there,
Oh,
42.
we're down to,
So
Zero.
let me just, so these are already paid. These invoices are already paid.
Oh, they are,
Yeah,
okay.
These invoices are not just being billed now, they were paid out of this
Okay,
account.
so he only needs the 21 to survive.
He's asking for the 21 to
Right,
replenish into the account
right.
so he can finish out the year.
So we're
Right.
depleted then.
So if we're looking at facilities, professional services,
is that our total
this,
reserve fund? Is that our
no,
It's not the reserve, is it the reserve?
the reserve fund is
41?
41 right now. And so if we take 22, that's gonna leave us about 19.
19, that's what I said,
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
How much does he have left?
19.
I am looking at, and it says the facilities professional services has 7,442 as of the February BBA.
Not gonna happen.
So there's not much left in that account. He had
No.
32,981 for it for the year. Yeah. And that's his professional services, his repair and maintenance for the building is also at, it's at 91% as of February, and there's only 2,835 remaining, so he is running thin on quite a bit.
Well, we'll hope for the best.
Okay, so there's been a lot of discussion.
Wow.
Well, you know,
almost-
one thing, if we can't, whatever we decide, do remember that in May, which is still within this fiscal year,
Mhm,
do municipal transfers.
correct. Yeah,
So
we have,
that
yeah,
if it's decided that the amount is too great from the reserve fund
mhm,
and he can hold out in some place, he could go for it in May then to repair maybe.
right.
That's a good
That's
idea.
a possibility. So that was where, one of the thoughts I had, we can take numbers and we have the reserve fund request, they will get assigned numbers and we can vote it yes or no tonight, holding one or two, depending on what it is, until that time. Does he need it in the account and we have to go to the reserve fund? Or can we squeeze it, as Andrea said, until May and look and see if we have money in a different account that we can move in here with the municipal transfer? Because the municipal transfer request is only available for the last 2 months of the fiscal year and the first 2 weeks in the following year. So we can make adjustments to FY '24 to accounts through the end of the second week of July with those municipal transfer requests. And if we did have that and we want to make, what's a balance we want to try to maintain at this point? And we can look at these numbers and come up with a set that we would like to approve, and then the other we can put on hold until until we hit May and see, because then we'll be in the last 2 months and we may have the municipal transfer request available to us to support anything else that may come in. Or we can see that we only have 2 months left and look at it and decide that we could do it with reserve fund.
Hey, Don, sorry. How do we know if he's going to have, I'm trying to follow what we're talking about, how do we know that he's going to they would have enough to cover, I guess, a period of time?
For us, for the reserve fund, or for Rob for his?
I guess for this, the municipal request, the municipal transfer you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, so and you haven't been through a municipal transfer request season yet. That allows us, and I'll take for instance, the MARC bus that we had for the shuttle that was going to Pittsburgh, we had put in the budget $24,500. We were able to not expend any of that money, so we have $24,000 in an account that was allocated because we thought we needed it for the MARC bus. So now it's available when we hit May, that if we have an account like this that's going to go negative, we can move it from that line in the Board of Selectmen budget to this line in facilities.
Oh, okay, so it's almost like unused funds that we can
Exactly.
transfer around. Okay.
Yeah, reallocating funds. Yeah, but you can't do it all year. You can only do it in the last 2 months.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess,
So what are we looking for a motion?
well, let's start with, do we have a target of the reserve fund account that do we want to get to 25,000 in the account? Do we want to get to, are we okay with 23,000?
What's in it now?
41,000. Let me see if I can call
And you want us to take out, you're saying take out, right?
it. Now, okay, so let me call
Take
it.
out to Rob's.
Take up it, yeah, and transfer to Rob's, let's see.
Professional services.
It's kind of like, shoot.
I have a
So
question.
it's been a long time since I looked at that.
Andrea has a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Andrea.
When these expenses that were called to our attention by Katie,
Yeah,
we don't have a reserve fund transfer from him for those, correct?
Correct. That is trying to show us what he has scheduled between now
Right.
and the end of the year.
Yeah. So we have some time to think about it. What we have to act now, though, on, one way or the other,
Yeah.
is the reserve fund transfer that we actually have.
That's right, yeah. You know, knowing that he had those other expenses coming, the idea is bolster his budget so he can continue to pay and deal with the facilities.
Maybe we
Yeah.
could meet with him and help to understand the priority of those.
Right, and do what you said and wait till May, for the ones that can wait till May and do the,
Right.
The thing is, we don't know what's coming down the line, that's the
Right,
problem.
on top of that. well,
Right, he could have something else unplanned when they start the heating system.
Well, then, when that happens, we'll have money in this account left.
Right, and so that's what I was saying, so
I'd rather do that, that's my opinion.
I have, a reserve fund up, we had approved 2 for the police department so far,
Mm-hmm.
and we have 41,400 remaining at this particular time.
Geez, even if we did the whole, well, it'd leave us
Yep.
19,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what, why do we wanna gamble like that? Why don't we have a sure bet, if he can wait till May, do what he has to have
Right.
now.
Has he got anything in there now?
He's only got 7,000 in there now, but that was the end of February, so he's probably got less than 7,000 in there.
Right, so,
Why don't we give him?
I would give, what would he need to get him to May, and then we do the other thing.
Maybe 15?
I don't know, he has to tell us. But
Well, so I'm gonna go one way or the other. He needs the money in the budget to cover the
right,
But
unintended.
we
That's
can't
20.
give it to him until he actually does the formality of applying for it.
Right, so the only, what we can do is look at what we have as available balance, which is 41,400.
right.
And his request is, and I'm just gonna put it on a line, 22,400. And if we said yes to all of it,
Which is 17.
it leaves us 19,000
19.
flat in the reserve fund.
So just a question, if we transfer him
Yeah.
everything that he was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
and that leaves us down, that depletes the reserve fund down to, I think you said 17. That only leaves us
19.
still 19. That leaves us a month until we can do possibly municipal transfers that we could use possibly to cover things that come up, right?
Right, yep. And that's why I'm looking at, do we want to try and say approve 3 of them tonight? And do we want to change that existing balance, to be something more like 21,000 so that we are now in approach, let's call it April because we're there. It's kind of like,
Yeah,
so we're 3/4 of the way through the year, so that 75% of the year is gone.
Yeah.
Do we feel comfortable with having, about 40% of our budget in the reserve fund left in for the last quarter, knowing that we only have to really support the 1 month before we can start using the other tool and do municipal transfer requests?
Don, I think that approach that you laid out makes sense.
Okay,
so when you say pick 3 items,
right, so we have, let's rough it, 4,000, 6,700, 3,500.
Excuse me,
Okay,
Yeah,
what are they?
okay.
take these 3 items
Yeah,
and give him the money. So he has never asked for it formally. He
No,
has
no,
to
no.
pick the 3 items. He
Okay.
has to supply it to us on the reserve fund transfer
Well-
request.
okay, sorry, let me go back.
Do we know what what are the 3 items?
Well, I'm just, so we have in front of us 4 requests for reserve fund transfers. The first one is, for, the town hall, generator failed, and he had to pay for repairing the generator so that we had backup power in town hall.
So that's, there's two different prices there, did you notice that?
I think the total is 39.54.
54, I think it is too, yeah.
Yeah. So he was requesting of the total budget, is the total invoice of
39.50.
39.54, he's only requesting a replenishment of 39.50.
Correct.
The next one that is in front of us is for the library boiler needed repairs that were not
Oh,
foreseen.
how do we not pay for that? I mean, how do you not?
Right, you gotta heat the library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And again, that's, it's kind of like, so then the next one was the ceiling in the main stairway in town hall. How can you not repair
the
the
main,
ceiling, the main stairs in town hall?
right, yeah.
And then the last one that was here is the sewerage lift pumps.
And how do you not do that?
You can't, yeah, it's kind of like, so, in this case,
So there you go.
yeah, it's kind of like your sewerage is backing up, the pumps aren't pumping it to
I
the.
don't think there's anything that we can't go, I mean, I think that whole thing's gotta go.
Well,
Right.
but
But
that's
do
the
we do
thing.
it all now?
Do we do it all now and come down to 19,000, or
But you said these are paid.
the bills are paid, but
Bills are
that
paid.
leaves him only $7,000 in his account. So,
And he thinks he's gonna need the 21.
right,
But do we know what the 21 is for?
yeah, it was
Yeah,
for
for
that
the,
list of items on
The
on
light
the email.
post, the,
Excuse me, I asked before,
Yeah,
and I thought you said that we only had one transfer. Do
Oh,
we have four
Right.
actual transfers? Three?
we have
Or-
4 actual transfers in front of us, yeah.
How old are the other ones? 'Cause I don't even remember them.
They all came in at the same time. In the March 7th meeting, I mentioned that they were incomplete because they didn't give us a listing of the current balance, and they did not give us an account that they were gonna go
Oh,
to.
that's
Yeah.
where I let it go. All right, thank you.
So we had talked about them, but there wasn't a lot of detail in them because we couldn't address them and say, this is the right account to move the money to. So I did meet with Rob. And then, as I said, Katie forwarded the rest of the support information, to us because the invoices have been submitted by Rob to it, so that it sort of came from the information from 2
I
places.
don't have anything in regards to as the lamp post or anything like that. I don't have.
No,
that.
no, that information is not here. That is his plan to spend the rest of the money that's in that account.
And what are they, I don't know what they are. Could you tell us what they are? The lamp post and what else?
Well,
they were listed on the,
let me scroll, go back up. It's kind of like,
but there's no numbers associated.
there's no
to it.
numbers associated with it.
I just wanna know what they are.
Okay, so we start with the light fixture in the parking lot.
So is that the lamp post or,
Good-
okay, light in the parking lot,
Yeah.
okay?
Window treatments in the town administrator.
That can wait.
What is that?
Again, I think it's to manage heat and cooling, to,
Window treatments, that tells me like it's curtain and shades.
that's what it sounds like, but
It doesn't say heating and cooling.
no.
There's a big difference between heating, cooling and window shades.
Well, a window treatment can prevent cold from coming through old windows
Yeah, but
and heat from escaping if you're air conditioning or heat from
to me,
coming
it's
in.
written wrong. I think it needs more clarification.
Okay, that's
And what was the
I
other
am
one?
heavy drained.
automatic door system
right
at the.
now.
Pardon me?
The third is the automatic door system at the library,
Oh,
out of calibration. Fourth is the town hall fire system antifreeze, needs to be drained and filled.
So what is this total up to? 20 something?
It said estimated 21,000, correct.
Well, you need the fire.
Right, and then there is paper products, cleaning supplies, town hall, and senior
And I think you
center.
have to have those.
It is, facilities is,
They take care of all the buildings and,
they do it, and with this, the senior center and council, and library have facilities here managing
Mhm.
and supplying certain things for them.
Right.
And so Rob is responsible for those. The groundskeeping and pest control. So there's right now, a monthly bill for the pest control.
well, that's a must.
That's a must. We have to continue to control them. The irrigation startups and repairs, probably in the May timeframe, he's gonna have an irrigation company come in and burn water
There's
line,
always
test the
broken
system.
heads. and-
There's broken heads every year usually, it's kind of like, and then the last is the elevator quarterly payment. So that's, their intention is, they expect
They should be paid.
21,000 out of there. And one of the directives from town administrator has been, get the work done so that the last of the invoices is turned in,
Before.
so that we're not, so by the end of the second week in June, so that the invoices
Everything's
can
clean
be
then.
paid
Right,
and the accounts can be cleaned, and we're not doing the 15 municipal
Transfers at
transfer
the end,
requests
yeah.
in the end. So that's,
Well,
they're trying to plan better and try to keep the scrambling a little bit down. So maybe we confused ourselves with, I think it's all good information to have, but we have to take it in the intention that it is. So
well, some of the things, I don't think we have much choice.
some of the things we don't have much choice, others might be flexible in, we're on daylight
It is.
savings time now on a light fixture, or was it a light fixture's hanging and has to be replaced?
Yeah,
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 so the,
that information,
we
Okay,
can
need to know.
look for, right, but that's the rest of his 21, but right now he's at 7, so he can't even afford,
so cover, can we give him 14?
we can,
14.1, I think I came up with.
I can give you, how about 15? There's two big ones in here, an 8,300 and a 6,700.
Okay,
And if we do the two big ones, it's 15,000.
I'm good with
That's
that.
easy math to me.
I'm good with that, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's us in the room, sorry. And
And what items were those?
6,700 is the boiler at the library. And 8,300,
That must be
Was
the
the fire?
generator.
what was the fire?
the sewage lift pumps.
Oh,
the
sewer,
pumps,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
How much are the pumps?
8,300.
83, okay.
Yeah.
And what was the fire, the cleaning of the, what's that one? How much was that?
Cleaning,
The, 83 for the fires?
That wasn't
Okay,
listed as a
that's-
price tag.
that's part of,
It wasn't,
that's
okay.
Yeah,
part of
it
the
it was
that's part of
only
the
pricing
future
that
work.
got in.
Yeah.
Part of the what?
future work.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's not in front of us,
Okay,
for work that's been
all
done.
right.
So these, and again, that may be already, that may have already been planned as part of his regular
Right.
maintenance.
Right.
It's just that we said of the money in this account, what's
Right.
What's
gonna
left
be
to
used,
be done.
what's left to
Okay.
be done in FY '24. And
Got it.
so that's that list of 7
Okay.
items in front of us. Now,
Well, I'm exhausted on this.
Yeah,
I don't know about anyone else.
is.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked this
Yeah,
That-
we
we wore
beat the
that to
dog
death,
dead
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to
Let's
make a
move on. Let's
motion.
move on. I propose we move on.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we do the financial transfers. The request for $6,700 for the boiler at the library, the cleaning, and $8,300 for the sewer lift pumps here for town hall.
Second that motion.
Okay, we had a motion to approve 2 and hold 2.
Correct.
And we had the second. Any further questions or discussion? Is it clear? for what we're trying to do at this point. That I'll just try to summarize it quickly. We are trying to approve two reserve fund transfer requests for a total of $15,000 to facilities so that they can continue their work, and we'll continue to hold and review the other two that they've submitted
There's more information.
with a little more information from the work that they're going to do.
Maybe take it out of a different fund.
And then we may take it out of a different fund when we hit,
May.
or we may find that there's more money needed in April for him to pay bills for
Well,
this, and we can come back.
we can come
and
back
visit.
and address
We
it.
can come back and visit it, but this is an ongoing and active conversations with everybody that we need. With the 15,000, transferring only $15,000, that's gonna leave us about 50% of our fund, and it's gonna leave 26,400 in the reserve fund to address any other unplanned expenses that may come before us.
Okay.
Does that clear it up for everybody, what we're trying to do and accomplish?
I am good.
I'm good.
Okay. Andrea?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. I know it's hard. I tried to, I didn't get the full list for Katie with the invoices out to that file until noonish today, I think it was, okay, we are ready to vote on the motion before us.
Gerald Bezikas, yes.
Mark Hussey, yes.
Andrea Wood, yes.
Josh Levitt, yes.
Okay, so we have approved, and I will update and assign the numbers to Rob's, and we'll make them, the ones we approved, 3 and 4, and we'll hold 5 and 6. So we're saying, 8,300. I'm just gonna
Well,
do.
if we knew a little more information about the other two, we could, but we don't, so let's
Well-
just move on.
I think we know the information we have, we just don't want to
Deplete this.
deplete the reserve fund
Right.
on those. And we do have questions about the other work. Is he gonna try to balance it and move some in?
Yeah, I just wanna know
FY25?
what they
Yep.
are,
Yep.
saying you need a light bulb in the, light in the driveway doesn't tell
Well, I don't know,
me.
maybe somebody knocked it down too, we
Well,
don't know.
Right, yeah. Okay, so I'm just,
So that when I go out, I'm gonna have to look.
I have a question to ask.
okay, yep,
Did you say that we've already had 2 reserve fund transfers this year from the reserve account?
for the police. Yep,
All right.
so
Elevator and,
the alarm.
The
Yeah,
alarm,
we had
yeah.
a lightning strike the lightning strike was for the alarm request.
And yet we still have $41,000 in the account?
Are they more?
It was, before tonight's votes, it was 41,400, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But we only put in, the reserve fund is only like 45. Did we?
Yeah.
How does this work? It doesn't seem like,
Okay, are you seeing, an Excel spreadsheet in front of you yet?
yeah,
I should be sharing, okay, so, as we've been going, I started this idea of tracking, so for fiscal year, and we're saying reserve fund transfers with an RF, and the first one that came in was for the alarm repair, and we have $50,000 to start. They requested 5,120. We approved it with a yes, and that left the balance of the 44,880.
you don't even have to go any further. I'm better off. I had forgotten that we had boosted the reserve fund up to 50,000.
Ah, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
We did do-
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, we
Thank
went
you.
up $10,000 last year. Yeah, yeah. So that's why we had the 41.4.
Great.
Okay, yep, yep. Okay, so I will sign those outside the meeting, approve them, distribute them to Katie. She can transfer the $15,000 over. Rob will have some money. I'll make sure that I touch base with Rob, to make sure he's all set with that. Okay, back to the agenda.
Oh, we're not, I thought, we meeting Thursday?
No, not this week.
Oh, I thought we were, okay,
The Thursday is next week.
okay.
We were
Oh,
going,
yeah,
we
yeah,
were
yeah,
meeting
yeah,
once a week,
yeah.
every other week,
Yeah,
not
okay.
like we did before.
Sure.
So we're meeting either Tuesday or Thursday every week until the week before.
Okay.
So the other item I listed was the budget summit review. We did have the budget summit on March 9th. And Andrea was there, Jerry and I were in person in the meeting. And we were able to ask questions and get input from everybody. For that, there didn't seem to be any major questions. There were a couple of items that we brought up that needed a little adjustment in the omnibus budget. And so those changes have not been made to the omnibus budget yet, and so we will,
Were they good changes?
um,
Probably not.
probably not. It's kind of like, but we have numbers. The other item that's really, anybody have any specific questions related to the budget summit? Or we did it as a working session because we didn't have enough people for a quorum, so it was
We
a
didn't take a
working
vote on
session for the
anything,
people.
right, yeah.
We voted on nothing. But we were able to ask questions and get clarity on some of the lines in the budget.
It was a good work session.
It was a good
Yeah.
work session. A lot of people were well prepared. Council on Aging, and we may invite them into a meeting. One of the things that everybody is working for, but Council on Aging specifically, as has been our conversation in Finance Committee, they have the budget plan out multiple years, showing how they tend to or intend to address the ARPA money that they have and not have us have a budget shortfall when the ARPA funds for them go away. So we are working. We know that we had police and fire. We brought those into the budget this year. The plans for the HR coordinator and the outreach coordinator, they have a plan to increase how much is coming from the operating budget year over year. And when we get to FY '27, they have the intention that it will be fully funded without having to do any kind of override, those things. So there has been some attention to the detail of opera money going away, that total of $350,000 that we've been propping up the budget with. So there was talk on that. So we want to see, and again, they're talking about it, so I want to see it on paper, what the plan is for the total budget and how we're going to.
So that's still not been decided, the total budget?
No, because there's some things next on the hit parade. We have the special town meeting of March 19th.
And what's that?
That was, the
Oh,
town,
the one we just had, yes, yes.
the town voted to approve.
They did, yes,
Two overrides.
I've seen
in
that.
that, yeah.
Those
So,
overrides, yeah.
so we have 2 overrides that were voted at the special town meeting, one for Neshoba Valley Tech.
I mean,
and
a
one for-
special,
Yeah.
when is that, the 24th, right?
The town
24th.
vote, the town vote is April 22nd.
22nd.
So now that you've had a town meeting vote to approve them,
It goes to a ballot.
it goes to a ballot question. And so we have the annual town voting on Monday, April 22nd, where not only will the,
How many questions are there? Are there a lot of questions on it?
I don't know, I think it's only
I
the
haven't
two
seen a
overrides.
ballot yet.
No, it hasn't. been
It
printed
better
yet.
be only two overrides.
Well, I think it's only two overrides, but I don't think there's any additional questions on that.
Oh, I see,
either.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there could be other questions that,
But it's
Do they
local,
do that? it's local only, so it's just
so it's
local
our
offices,
selectmen and whoever else is
Mhm.
running for whatever.
moderator,
Yeah.
planning
Yeah.
board, those kinds of, positions within the town government are being voted on, but the override will vote. And in order, so we voted at town meeting to, yep,
On the people that we are partially funding or
mhm,
assimilating into the budget from ARPA fund.
yeah,
There was a police officer, right?
it
And
was, yeah,
fire department.
correct, yeah.
Did was
HR.
that just salaries? They didn't figure. We haven't approached the benefits part for those people yet, have we?
The benefits were in the operating budget, always in the operating budget. those-
No, ARPA funds paid for those two people's.
I thought.
Well, I think they paid for, I didn't think they were, if they paid for the fire and police position, this year, they're fully in the budget.
They're
so-
fully, okay,
Yep,
that's all
yeah.
I wondered,
Yeah.
I didn't think about it until afterwards, and I wasn't
Mhm.
sure.
Right,
Thank
so what they said is those positions are gonna be fully in the operating budget for this year. So FY '25, we won't have an additional hit for them coming in. And I thought they had said the other two positions that were added and funded with opera funds were also in the operating budget, but we can ask that question.
So I just can't imagine that we'll be able to fund the operating budget.
Not.
Well, again, we had written in an amount for the schools, and it was before their override amount.
Mm-hmm.
So the override has to pass in order to approve the extra money on the tax bills to pay for
For the
those,
schools.
for the schools.
Do the
Right.
other towns have their town meeting, have their meeting at,
I
Not
don't know
yet.
if they have. no.
Ashby does not have one scheduled, and Pepperell is scheduled for April 8th.
oh, next week? Okay.
Yeah, it originally had been scheduled for the 18th, but,
But you know what I meant by my question.
well, and again,
Mhm.
this is phase one. We're voting the override. We're not voting the budget yet.
This is just the override.
This is the override, so that
Oh, yeah, because town meeting won't be.
town
yeah.
meeting is where we
In
vote
May.
in May, vote the school budget and approve everything that's in the operating budget is at annual town meeting.
So at that time,
Right,
we could be short,
we, if we.
even if the schools pass.
Oh,
I don't think we'll be short.
Okay, that's great news.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I don't think
idea,
we'll be short, I think
Oh,
I think we'll be all right.
yeah, and that's why they're
I
not.
agree.
Yeah,
I don't see
okay.
how we can continue to grow every year when we have a somewhat fixed, receipt base, real estate
Right.
taxes, and, salaries are galumphing ahead, which is fair to the employees. I'm not
Mhm.
doubting that, but I don't see how, at the rate we're going, how it is going to be at all sustainable.
I can't
Right.
believe it's sustainable this year, only because of the new positions we added because
Yeah.
of the ARPA funds, so we were struggling last year. How are we not gonna struggle this year by
Well,
adding positions?
We really haven't, there's no new positions this year over
They
last
were
year.
added last year.
They were
Added
added
last year, but not funded
and not
fully.
funded.
Right,
Now
so
they're,
we're funding them this year, it's like having them added.
Well,
it is like having them added, and so they're added to our expenses.
Mhm.
They're not added to the town. So looking at,
aren't they putting so much X number of dollars away per? They're putting so many dollars away per.
Well, I think we're fully funding two of them now,
Wait.
right?
no, everything is partially funded now.
Partially still,
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
So they're
okay.
still,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
putting
yeah.
an amount of
Okay.
money
My mistake,
towards
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so FY '24, we're funding $10,000 for each of the other two positions
Was it 10,000?
in the current
Oh.
budget. Next year,
Well,
FY
the healthcare
'25,
contribution is greater than that.
right, it will be. Now, next year, when we talk FY '25, we're doubling it to 20,000.
Mm.
So,
Still, I
Is-
believe it costs something somewhere around $32,000 per person to provide healthcare.
I think so.
yeah, it's been a while since I've looked at the numbers.
They're pretty
we'll-
high.
I know they're pretty high, but, we'll take, we'll ask Eric on,
I think when we first started on this, I guess it was 5 or 6 years ago, they were like at 24, so you
Yeah.
know they've gone up every
Oh,
year.
of course.
then, yeah, and some of those numbers, we estimate 6 and they come in at
Right.
9% increases. So, yeah, it'll be significantly higher. But it is a balance. I will tell you, I know at least 2 full-time employees that are doing healthcare outside the town. They're not using the town's healthcare. So
Oh, that's great.
we
Yeah,
budget
they
for it.
get it from their spouses.
Yeah, some of the
That's one
stuff.
possibility, yeah. You've got spousal and you've got potentially some other sources. Yeah, so we budget as if it's gonna be a position we have to pay
Mhm.
healthcare for. And so that's why last year you saw some of the municipal transfer requests, the money was coming from the healthcare
You know, even if,
to move around.
Well,
Even
one
if-
of the reasons on healthcare too, that money came from there was because we had some open slots that were not
Exactly.
filled,
Yeah.
so that healthcare money was not spent.
Right, yeah, so all of those things were to the benefit of us, and that's why there was that free cash. We're gonna have,
but where you say is wages are going up, and rightfully they should, it's still going up.
it's still going up at more than the 2.5%.
Right.
It's kind of like, so that's
So
where
something's gotta give.
your new growth has to try to keep pace, but I don't know that there's a lot of new growth
Is there any new
in the
growth?
town. There's some. I think it was about 200,000 in real estate
Really?
taxes last year. So what that equates to on the total taxable base. And that's the piece. I mean, there's a lot of room above the levy, between the levy and the top level, that we could tax to. If we were able to vote an override, but we're not asking for that. Everything that we have is using the 2.5 increase, and the cherry sheet money from the state and the other revenues we get, like excise tax and that. All of those revenues should support the operating budget being put forward. The only pieces, the school numbers were coming in at a higher percentage than we had. So we sort of still have our piece where we have to play it a little bit by year. We're not gonna know final numbers. But as far as school budgets go, when town meeting happens at each, if everybody votes it down, then or if we have, if there's a lot, there's so many scenarios.
I know.
I don't wanna hit them all.
I don't wanna get
Some
into it.
good, others ugly.
Yeah, well,
So we have to continue to watch this, and maybe be prepared, for different budgets later in the budget season than anticipated. Schools, if the school budgets get voted down by 2 out of the 3 towns, they need to come back and look at, changing their budget, changing their asks, see what they can do. They have said that, if they didn't get the budget they were requesting, that they had numbers on how many positions would end up being moved. They presented that. at-
You know, I hate that when they do that, because first thing they said is, sports and music and band and, all the big,
Yeah, all the big
all the big stuff.
extracurricular.
That the youth in town should have, because there's nothing much going on in town.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we'll keep there, and the schools are keeping links open and mailing on Facebook and things like that to keep people apprised of changes. I had item 4 on the budget, on the work session, the omnibus budget. Since I haven't got a new updated one, I'm holding off on that. But that's a real activity that we're going to need to take and prepare.
When do you
our
expect to have that, you
Eric, I did see Eric today, and he said by the end of the week.
Can you send that out?
I will send it out as soon as I have it.
Yeah.
And then we can take a look at, how we're gonna record it and put it together.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all we had. Any other questions on seeing the omnibus budget, or?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, then, I had put this on because I had, it's something that should have been on the email. I did not see any new correspondence that came in, and I say that, and it's kind of like, it wasn't received in the mailbox, maybe I should have CC'd it. And I'll mention it here, it's because I've put it on, I'm gonna take correspondence and leap into new business, the finance committee membership. We're a 7-member board, and we've had 7 members assigned, but 1 hasn't attended for most of probably 18 months. I did send a letter in the mail today inviting the person to our meetings with a list of everything for the March and April meeting dates. We're going to continue along that path. And the process that I read in the town charter, we can bring that to a vote after we've sent a registered letter to the person. Because I think he's scheduled to be part of the finance committee until 2026. I would like him to attend, and we're do everything we can to try to get him here. And at that, we'll address that, and we do have the ability to take a vote and remove the member if we're looking for a more active member, and I think we're looking for a more active finance committee member. So I'll leave it at that. Any questions? And I'm just going to continue to follow the process that's in the charter and hit that, and I'll update you. I'll leave that in there. I'll move it from new business into another section, and we'll continue to monitor the situation.
That's good.
Okay. With that, I didn't have a lot of other things. Any other new business from anybody before we take a motion to adjourn?
Not I.
Okay.
No.
Not hearing any, I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:20 PM.
I will make a motion, we adjourn the meeting at 7:20 PM.
I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to adjourn. Roll call vote.
Cheryl Mazeikis, yes?
Mark Hussey, yes?
Andrea Wood, yes.
Josh Levitt, yes.
And Don Hayes, yes. We are unanimous. We stand adjourned.